Hey everybody. Hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hope everyone is doing well. Lavetta, nice to see you. And congrats on getting closer to grabbing that property and closing. Going through the inspection process. Figure that out. We built the whole new studio this weekend and slowly coming together. Slowly. Hey Tyler, yeah we did, but unfortunately we got a copyright issue we had to deal with. So we are releasing it separately here shortly. So good old YouTube. We showed a clip from 40 years ago from the Oscars because it's trending, and we got flagged for it. Unfortunately, it was a story that was trending about Indigenous Peoples Day. So we showed this Native American who got up and spoke, accepting the award for Marlon Brando. And then Clint Eastwood came up afterwards and made fun of her, basically. Anyway, caused our whole show to get yanked down. So, anyway. Okay, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. Today we're going to talk about, what happens if you've lost your job, you're transitioning your job right now, and how to grow your investment portfolio, because in many ways you're in a perfect opportunity. Like, I couldn't wait to have left my job a couple of years ago because it gave me the opportunity to tap into my retirement account. We're going to talk about all those different pieces of this tonight or this afternoon on the show. All right. Let me take these off the screen here, and then we will dive into any questions you have. Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome in. Just turn the music down a little bit. Okay. Got fuzzies on me. It's a problem when you wear a black shirt and you have a dog. All right. Welcome everyone to... Oh yeah, let me make sure that the sound... Good on the sound? Okay. All right. Welcome in everyone to the Investing in Real Estate show. I'm Clayton Morris. So glad to have you here. I'm the founder of Morris Invest, which is a full service rental real estate company. So glad to see all of you here. I should mention we have our Freedom cheat sheet, which we will have in the description below, but you can go to our website, go to morrisinvest.com/freedom. morrisinvest.com/freedom. I think it's the formula that changed my life, figuring out your monthly expenses, and then how can you back engineer that to make sure that you have the proper passive income to protect you and take care of you for the rest of your life. Because if you're on the 401k bandwagon, right, if you're working for somebody else and you're partnering with the government, because that's what you're doing when you get a 401k, you're partnering with the government, and you are, paying a lot of fees. The idea is that you're going to have a big pile of cash at the end of it. When you're going to retire, you're going to have this pile of cash, and how are you going to live off of that for the rest of your life? Well, the truth is you won't be able to. That's the big lie that they're not telling you, right? They've been perpetrating this lie for many, many years to have you believe that a retirement account is your ticket to financial freedom. It's not. So again, go and download our cheat sheet. Go to morrisinvest.com/freedom to download that cheat sheet, so you can at least begin to figure out how much in passive income you will need to start to build wealth. Today on the show, we're going to talk about, this job switch idea, this job switching moment, or have you lost your job? You might likely have a 401k or some other retirement account ready to go, and it's sitting there and you can't access it. You can't do anything with it. You can't move it to a self-directed IRA or anything else because it's tied up with this employer until you leave your job. Like I said, I couldn't wait till when I was able to leave my job, where I was able to tap into my 401k, and I immediately who was able to jump on and start buying so much real estate. That was the thing that really took me to the next level and started to really build my net worth. So that's what we're going to talk about on today's show, using a job change to grow your investment portfolio. Get in your questions. We will answer them in the comments below. Any questions you have about 401ks, self-directed IRAs, and real estate investing. So if you're switching jobs in the near future, look, this is the perfect opportunity. This is absolutely the perfect opportunity to switch your traditional retirement plan to a self-directed IRA instead of letting the old account just sit there. Now, when I left an old job years ago, I worked on a show out of Florida, and when I moved, I just had this 401k just sitting there. And I think at the time it maybe had 30 or 27 in it, something like that. Well, guess what? That could be a down payment on a rental property for some people, right? That money, or putting that together with another $5,000 or $10,000, that's a down payment on a rental property. But it's just sitting there, wasn't doing anything, it was collecting dust. And I didn't know what to do with it. We're not taught this in school. How do you build financial literacy? How do you learn what to do with this money that's just sitting there from a retirement account? Who do you call? You call a financial advisor? Calling a financial advisor, what are they going to tell you to do, right? They make money off of managing your money, so they're going to tell you to stick it in the stock market. They're going to tell you to invest in these funds, these ETFs, these mutual funds. By the way, funds and stocks that they don't even own, okay? But they're making money off of managing your money. So they'll make $2,000, $3,000 a year off of managing your money, right? So what do you do? Who do we call? Do you pick up a book? Do you pick up Rich Dad, Poor Dad? And you start to learn about performing assets? Maybe. But in that book, it doesn't teach you the mechanisms of taking a retirement account and transferring it over. So that's what this channel is all about. And I hope if you're new here, you'll subscribe, because we want to bring you financial intelligence and provide financial literacy. That's the only way we're going to improve, right? That's the only way we're going to get out of this rut that the middle class is stuck in the United States. So you can conventionally invest, right? You could throw that money in, other stocks or ETFs and hope for the best and have people making money off of your money. And then what happens when the stock market collapses under its own weight in the next year or so? Who knows, right? Or you could transfer that money into a self-directed IRA and then exponentially grow your wealth, taking that to an entirely other level. So there's four major things that I want to talk about, four major advantages that I want to talk about today of switching to a self-directed retirement account. So let's talk about number one. Number one is asset protection. So let's go through this. So if your retirement funds right now are locked up in a regular IRA, then your money is at the mercy of the stock market. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to what's going on with the stock market, but the Federal Reserve is starting to pull back all of that additional money that it's been throwing at Wall Street. Billions per month, $120 billion that they've been funneling towards Wall Street. Have they been sending that money to you? No. They've been sending that money to the banks. They've been sending that money to big Wall Street hedge funds. They've been making sure that they are liquid. They're giving them zero or low interest loans so that they can buy back their own stocks. I mean, it's absolutely it's like Christmas every day for Wall Street, thanks to the Federal Reserve. But now they are starting to pull back. They are about to start pulling back, called tapering the amount of money that they're throwing at Wall Street. And what happens to Wall Street now is that interest rates are going to start to go up. And inflation is going to continue to peak. I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a shortage of everything across the United States right now, from cars to milk to cheese to Halloween costumes, you name it. Huge shortage everywhere. We have supply chain crunch that's happening. And guess what? That's absolutely going to affect bottom lines. That's going to affect stock prices, stock values, revenues, all across the board. So if your retirement account is tied to the stock market, you need to get your head examined. So asset protection, if there is a downward turn in the market, which there's going to be, okay, then you could nearly lose all of your life savings or a huge chunk of it. Do you remember 2008? If you were near retirement and you suddenly were hoping that you'd be able to take this pile of cash out of the market or cash it out and ready to live off of, hey, honey, we're ready to retire. Like a Merrill Lynch commercial, we got gray hair and we're ready to go off into the sunset. And then suddenly 2008 hits. Oh, honey, looked at my 401k. It used to be 300,000. Now it's down to 60,000 because the stock market tanked. Stock market collapsed. I didn't have any control over it. Well, you could have had control over it if it wasn't in the stock market. And you could make sure putting your money inside of, a self-directed IRA could protect you against this economic crisis. And the stock market plunges regularly. Moves in the market happen all the time. But by you holding a self-directed IRA, you can control that flow. You can make sure that if you're invested in real estate and the cash flow that's going into that self-directed IRA is protected, you are controlling that flow yourself. And even if it's not real estate, let's say you have gold in there, right? Some diversified assets. Maybe you own some, you've lent some of that money out to somebody, right? You've created your own promissory note, which you can do inside of a self-directed IRA. You could invest in other things, except the stock market. Take your money out of the stock market and you're protected in that way. So you're faced with the fact that you might have to continue working, right? Because if suddenly the stock market collapses and you're banking on that money, what's going to happen? You're going to say, oh my God, I'm going to have to keep working now. I thought I'd be able to retire at 70 or 65 or 59 and a half, but now all my retirement savings is gone, so now I'm going to have to keep working. Think about that for a minute. Like you have this whole plan, and just because the mood of the stock market, boom, you have to continue working for all those years. With a self-directed IRA, your funds can be safe and secure in an asset that you pick, that you control. If the stock market crashes, your retirement funds will not change. In fact, they will just keep growing. And this is because no matter how bad the economy gets, everyone still needs a place to live with real estate. So stock market crashes, okay. You've got retirement assets that are actual real estate inside of your self-directed IRA. It's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to perform. And it also historically has been a fantastic hedge against inflation. So now you've got an inflationary hedge asset inside of your self-directed IRA portfolio that's bringing in monthly cash flow that is also tax-free. Talk about a game changer, right? You own a piece of real estate inside of a self-directed IRA. The cash flow from those tenants also grows tax-free. And then when you retire, you have access to that. You can take it out tax-free. Not only that, it's a hedge against inflation. So many valuable points to owning real estate inside of a self-directed IRA. Now, we've just scratched the surface of this. Like any one of you who are watching right now and you've worked with our team at Morris Invest, if you've spoken to our self-directed IRA experts on our team like Haley and others, they're going to blow your mind with some of the things that you can do if you get on the phone with our team. You're going to find out, holy smokes, I didn't know this even existed. The reason you don't know self-directed IRA most even exist is because the big banks don't want you to know that they exist. They don't like them. They want you to put your money into Fidelity's own little dinky whatever retirement accounts, right? Fidelity, Charles Schwab, that's why they spend millions of dollars on television commercials. The self-directed IRA team does not, or a crowd does not. They're custodians. You don't see them advertising on television. They charge really low fees, and you get to control your own destiny. So that's one reason, is having asset protection, having real estate inside of a self-directed IRA that grows cash-free and is a hedge against inflation. That's asset protection. Number two is acceleration. So let's talk about accelerating. We talked about extraordinary growth inside of your portfolio. Let's talk about the acceleration piece of this. We'd like to place a special emphasis right now on switching from a traditional IRA to a self-directed IRA, okay? Because this is going to allow you to invest your retirement funds in real estate specifically, rental properties specifically. Real estate investments are one of the most secure assets available, and it's one of the most lucrative ways of growing your retirement funds. So, and all of this can be done passively. So let's just think about this for a second. you can enjoy your life while money is coming into your savings and retirement account, right? You're not relying on the stock market, but I want you to just think about the acceleration here. So you've got $1,000 or $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month in cash flow from a tenant that's coming into your self-directed retirement account. Well, 1 month is 4,000, next month it's 8,000, next month is 12,000, right? On and on and on. Imagine after 12 years of that, what you have. Not only do you have an asset that has appreciated, right? It's a hedge against inflation, but you also have all of that cash flow coming in tax-free. And that's just one asset I'm talking about, one or two assets that I might be talking about. I'm not even talking about, what if you have 10 properties inside of your self-directed IRA? Think about that for a minute. The acceleration of that, move towards retirement is just, it's explosive when you start to use this tax vehicle like this. The third thing that I want you to think about when you're moving from a job to, taking that 401k or traditional retirement plan and accessing it, utilizing it, putting it to work for you, is control. Okay, what we talk about is checkbook control. I got to tell you, I was really frustrated. I had my 401k with my old employer. It was a media company in New York City, big billionaire media company, right? And our 401k plan was controlled through Fidelity. Now, Fidelity, if you don't know how many fees you're paying, by the way, go to a website, and maybe Kelly, in our chat here, you can throw it up here on the screen, or throw it up in the chat, or in the description below, which is FeeX. And I never know the URL. It's like feex.com or something like that. I think it's free. I'm pretty sure it's free. Go there and you can plug in your retirement account information to this website, and it'll show you all of the hidden fees that you are paying for your 401k and retirement plan. It's going to blow you away. You're not going to realize, holy smokes, that you're paying like thousands of dollars a month to this like Fidelity custodian so that they can manage your money. And the thing is that your company sets these up, and your company also is incentivized and gets a nice little bonus as a result of setting up these plans. Okay, so they're all making money off of this. So I was upset because I called at one point during my employment. I said, I'd like to get a self-directed retirement account. Do you guys have a self-directed retirement account? And they said, oh, yes, we do. And I said, oh, great. Meaning that I could literally buy a property inside of my retirement account? And they lied to me. They said, well, yeah, you can do that. You can invest in real estate. Sure. And I said, you mean I can buy a house inside of my retirement account? And they finally got them to admit that, no, you cannot. What they were referring to is investing in real estate REITs, REITs, which are real estate investment trusts, which are stocks, which are horrible. Stay away, in my opinion. So, no, you cannot. And I said, well, I want to take my retirement account and move it to a self-directed account. And they said, well, I'm sorry, you can't do that until you've left your place of employment or you declare a hardship. Okay. I said, you got to be kidding me. I have to leave my job before I can access this? Sure enough, that's the case. Now, conveniently, at least under COVID, there are some situations where you are able to access this and even maybe access it under COVID rules and pull this thing out or take the money out as a hardship because of COVID. So I would definitely check with your custodian if you're interested in that. But when the third point I'm making here about control is that when you're dealing with a traditional IRA, you give up control, like I just mentioned with this Fidelity example, right? Typically, insurance firms, brokerage houses, or banks are the ones that hold a large amount and control of your IRA. They only give you a certain number of funds to pick from. Do you want, aggressive growth, moderate growth, or conservative? They give you like 3 tiers, and you kind of pick this little pie chart of how you want these funds distributed, and they kind of just distribute them over. And they're like, good, you're done, click save, good. Oh, my retirement's all taken care of now? Because I played around with a little pie chart here on Fidelity's website, I'm all good? They rely on the fact that Americans are financially illiterate, okay? This is how they make their money. This is why they spend millions of dollars in television commercials getting you to sign up with Charles Schwab or whatever, or Fidelity or all of these companies spend millions of dollars. Why? Because they make billions off of you by being financially illiterate. So when you give up this control, you give up your retirement. You're investing in stocks and bonds and mutual funds and ETFs and whatever, and they can do fine from time to time, but you can't live off of stocks. You can't live off a pile of cash. You need to live off of cash flow, okay? Cash flow, not a pile, but cash flow. Because when you're investing and you're relying on these other companies, they can severely impact your retirement funds overall and keep from reaching your full savings potential. This is where the self-directed IRA comes out on top. It brings your retirement funds along with it. So you can roll over all that money that's sitting there in the stock market, take that $50, $60, $70, $100,000 that's in that retirement account in stocks, and move it now into performing assets that increase your net worth and create cash flow. You know, a self-directed IRA lets you run the show, gives you total checkbook control of it. Again, you want to take $10,000 and lend it out as a note to somebody with 6% interest, you can do that. And they'll pay that 6% interest back into your self-directed IRA. You want to take another 30 or 40 and use that as a down payment on a rental property? Great. Now the self-directed IRA owns a rental property, cash-free, or tax-free with cash flow coming in. You've got another 30 that you want to invest in gold inside the self-directed retirement account. Boom, you can do that. You want to buy crypto as part of a small part of your portfolio, you can do that. Can't do that with those retirement accounts through Fidelity and other places. You have control. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is transparency. So you do not get transparency with traditional retirement accounts. I had to pull teeth. I had to use an outside website to find out how many fees I was paying for my 401k. I had a guy lie to me on the phone about what I could invest in. They are not transparent. They're doing it on purpose. There's a reason that when you go to work now at Home Depot, truth, they have now automatically have a program now where they automatically enroll employees in a 401k plan that Home Depot makes money off of, okay? And so too does the bank structure with the bank. So when you sign up and you just start working at Home Depot, boom. According to the Wall Street Journal, this actually started about 2 years ago, where they automatically default you into their own structure and retirement account. Isn't that amazing? Like, you have no choice. Oh, you're going to take care of that for me, and I'm going to pay fees to this company, and you're going to pick the stocks, and now I guess my financial future is set. It's ridiculous. This is America. This is our financial institutions that make billions off of this financial illiteracy. So transparency. Do you know what kinds of fees are inside of your stock-based retirement account? If you go to FeeX, again, FeeX, let me pull it up here. It is feex.com, F-E-E-X. Here it is. Oops, wrong one. I don't have that plugged in. Sorry, folks. I had the wrong button pushed. No, let me pull it up here. I can't pull it up. Anyway, just trust me. Feex.com, F-E-E-X.com. Go there and do your research on what your fees you're actually paying. Try to get you get a free analysis on your accounts. All you have to do is sign into your investment accounts. So you just sign in with your passwords and stuff, and it'll let you know all of the hidden fees that you're paying. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but the results can be totally shocking, really. With a self-directed IRA, you pay a custodian. There's like 3 or 4 custodians. There's very few of them. There's very few. You pay a fee like once a year, and that's it. You pay and you get transparency right off the bat. You don't have to dig into some fine print to know what you're paying for on a retirement account. So with all of that being said, those are 4 great things to think about when it comes to moving away or leaving a job, transferring your retirement account into a self-directed IRA. Absolutely powerful, game changer, and an incredible way for you to build wealth. Again, check out the links in the description below, and any questions you have about this process, please let us know. Don't forget, you can book a call with our team just by going to morrisinvest.com. We'll jump on the phone with you, pick a time that works best on your calendar, and our team is a self-directed IRA. We are experts at this. This is what we do best. We'll walk you through that entire process, whether you need to transfer it over. We'll help you with that whole process. In a matter of minutes, we can help you be set up with a self-directed IRA. So, go ahead and book a call with our team at Morris Invest as well. So let me open it up for some Q&A here and see what Bill Purdue says. I do hear that a lot of companies automatic. Well, I haven't heard that. In 2 years ago, Bill, when I first heard of Home Depot and it was in the Wall Street Journal, a bunch of other big companies were starting to enroll you automatically in 401k plans. I couldn't believe it, because most people don't understand. Like, for a lot of people, I think, like, if you're financially illiterate, you would think that's great. Good for Home Depot. But why? What's their motive? And they said at the time, we want to really take care of our employees. Sure. What's the motivation? When a company does an employee match program, where you put in 6% and they match it at 6% in a 401k, what most people don't realize is that they're typically, almost always, matching that with your own company's stock, with the company's stock. It's not like they're giving you a choice on a company match. It's not like they're giving you hey, I want Apple stock. Can you give me Apple stock? No, they're going to give you the company you work for stock. Okay, well, they think, well, it's still generous, and it is. It is free money. So the only time I ever tell people, to use a 401k is if there's a company match program. Otherwise, put your money to work in other places. Use a self-directed IRA. Don't run it through the mill of a 401k plan, which is a terrible way to invest, in my opinion. Lindsay says, I think it's pretty common now having companies do it. That's amazing. And you have no, I guess, and you can opt out. You have to tell them that you're opting out. Let's see. Fam Jackson said, sorry if I'm late, so ignore me if you already discussed this. I heard you say something before about a crypto-backed self-directed IRA. Can you say more about it if you haven't already? Yeah, let me show you. So I'm actually in the process right now. In fact, right before the show, I was talking to Natalie about moving over my old, so I have a self-directed IRA with a company that's kind of, they're a great company, but they are not technologically advanced, let's just say. Maybe I'm putting that lightly. And so a company that if you go to altoira.com/invest. Yeah, if you go to altoira.com/invest, let me see if I can find the caption here to put up on the screen. If I can't find it, I will. I have so many captions here. Anyway, I'm going to put this up here, but it's altoira.com/invest. If you go to that URL, that way you get, they were doing something special for my audience. Morning. It's morning. I apologize. Here it is at the bottom of your screen. altoira.com/morning. And so they're very tech savvy and they're brilliant. They said to me, I talked to their team. They said, look, we wanted to have an IRA, a self-directed IRA experience that was digital, that you could just control with your iPhone, and that you invest in real estate. You can do it super fast. You want to buy like a few $1,000s of Bitcoin or whatever in your portfolio. They've partnered with Coinbase. So they actually have a digital wallet built into the self-directed IRA. So if you've got a few $1,000s, you don't have enough yet for a down payment on a rental property, maybe you've got $5,000-$10,000 or something sitting there, you could invest in crypto or buy gold or something else right inside the self-directed, right inside the account. You could easily make a down payment for a rental property right inside of Alto IRA. So I was blown away by what they devoted themselves to, because this has been one of my big complaints about some of the older self-directed companies, is that they kind of operate in the maybe like late 90s kind of a model, you know? Like if I tried actually to buy some crypto in my self-directed IRA account that I had, and they explained to me that it's like I have to get like a permission, I have to like write out a form, and I have to like then send the form to them. And I was like, nah, no way. Because by the time I send you the form, the coin that I might want to buy is going to go up, right? So I'm missing valuable time if I do that. So with real estate, it's a little bit easier because you know, like you have that time before a closing of a property to do that. But so anyway, I highly recommend this company. I would check them out. Like I said, I'm transferring my self-directed IRA account right now over to them. So just go to altoira.com/morning. I know our team uses Provident, which is also great. So you can, you know, we have a great partnership with Provident at Morris Invest. So but there's a few of them. There's a few. So I would check them anyway. Check them out. Keep hitting that wrong button. I'm sorry. Let's see. Oh, Kara. Interesting. Okay. Thank you for that on Birch Gold. Let me see here. An IRA question from Shane. I had a company match at my last job. I'm worried of fees to pull and self-direct. No, there shouldn't be. There's no fees at all. You know, unless you just need you said your last job. So it's sitting there. There's no fees at all. Unless I'm wrong about that. We have, I would book a call with our team, Shane, and Haley on our team can help you get that all set up. Okay. She can help you set that up in like 10 minutes, and there should be no fees at all. Okay. The only fee you'll pay is just to the custodian of the self-directed retirement account. And it's not expensive. It's don't quote me, but it's like a few $100s a year. It's a very low fee. So that's it. Compared to the thousands that you were paying with your other custodian, with your traditional account. So Shane, just book a call right there. Just go to morrisinvest.com, and I'll show you on the screen here what that looks like in case anyone's new and hasn't pull this up on the screen. So Shane, yeah, you shouldn't have to worry about those fees at all. Let me see. I'll get to this question from Antonio. Can you talk about financing real estate using an LLC recently opened? Why is this internet not? Come on, internet. Financing real estate using an LLC. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of ways to do that. Obviously, private money, okay, that doesn't care about who they're lending it to. That's one way. Also, using financing that's non-recourse financing, so it's not tied to you personally. It's tied to the asset, and therefore they want you to buy it inside of an LLC. So non-recourse financing, that's something that we do at Morris Invest with our bank partners that we work with. But you might find that, okay, if you've set up an LLC and you want to buy a rental property that you've found, or if you're working with us at Morris Invest, we've found we have a property at one of our new construction properties that you're buying with us. Very often, the conventional financing is going to be the way to go because the interest rates are so low. And so therefore, you can always put it into an LLC later. You can close on the property with the mortgage in your own name. And then using a quitclaim deed, it's like $100 or $200. Then you just transfer it over into an LLC. It's not a big deal. We do this all the time. Natalie and I will buy using a conventional loan because it's cheaper, and then transferring it over to an LLC. No big deal. You just talk to your legal, talk to the legal team, and it's very cheap. It's like $150 or I think like $200, something like that. You just transfer it over the property and the mortgage, the property over to the LLC after closing. It's not a big deal. Oh, Shane, for taxes. Yeah, but our team will help you with that on the because it depends on what type of IRA you'd be moving over and whether or not it makes sense in this calendar year, if converting one for another traditional to, that how that all works. But oh, Nicole's pointing out also, you can also do a portfolio loan under an LLC if purchasing multiple properties at one time. That's great. So that's a great point, right? So maybe you're buying more than one property. Well, if you're buying more than one property, then the bank will say, great, you've got an LLC. We're going to give you a sort of an umbrella loan for these 3 properties. So that's another way to look at it. Good point. Let's see here. Gerard says, I'm thinking to pull out all my money of my 401k. What do you think? Gerard, I can't give you that kind of financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, okay? But I will tell you that personally, I couldn't wait to pull my 401k out, because here's why I just don't like 401k plans. Because number one, it's predicated on this idea that it's tax deferred, right? All these people, when they're done, you're like, hey, but the 401k plan is tax deferred, right? Yeah, high five. What they're forgetting, though, is that tax deferred means that you're going to pay taxes at some point. And I don't know about you, Gerard, but I want to retire in a higher, wealthier tax bracket, not a lower one. I don't want to be poorer when I'm older, right? I want to be wealthier. Therefore, my taxes will go up. My tax bracket will increase. So if it's tax deferred, I'm going to pay taxes later in a higher tax bracket. It makes no sense. So it's worth having a conversation with your CPA, okay? And looking at this, Gerard, and saying, okay, if I take my 401k and I convert it now to a self-directed IRA, and I just pay the taxes now, today in 2021, fine, I have to pay, you're going to pay them sometime, okay? Don't forget, you're going to have to pay them at some point if you're converting it, okay? So why not do it now when it's cheaper? Then you don't ever have to worry about it again. And now you've got this self-directed account that's set up that will grow tax-free until you retire. That's what I did. So I paid my fee, I transferred my 401k, I converted it to a self-directed IRA. I paid that, I took the tax fee in that year, and I talked to my CPA about this, and you should as well, okay? The team from Wealthability is fantastic. Talk to your CPA, whatever they might be, and ask them about that conversion, and get their advice on that. Shane says, hey, I've been watching for a while. Thanks for the ZKIN and UEC tip. You're welcome. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. Did you see my video last night that we did on Hello Pal? You got to check that one out too. Let's see here. Kara W. I have 2 IRAs, one traditional, the other directed with Edward Jones. How much would I need for one of your new duplexes? Good question. Nicole, what is the price remember, Kara, we'd only want you to use the money for a down payment. Like, use the bank's money for the rest of it. Keep as much of your own money as possible, right? So typically, like, our minimum for one of our properties, our minimum down payment on one of our new construction properties is going to be in the neighborhood of $40,000 to $45,000. Again, this is new construction, fully done for you with a tenant in place in the best school districts in West Texas where we're building our subdivisions. And the demand is off the charts. So we have single families, duplexes. We have more college housing duplexes, as well as higher end duplexes. So we have a price range. Kara, I would just book a call with our team, and it's not a one size fits all what our team does. We really want to get to know you, Kara, and work with you on and figure out like what makes sense based on your self-directed accounts and how we can help you piece these together. Our team thrives on sort of like taking the puzzle pieces and kind of putting them together. Yeah, that would be my suggestion. But Nicole, if you want to maybe say like, what is the sort of minimum on one of our new construction duplexes right now? Let's see. Oh, Gerard says, do you really, I want to now. I'd rather take that hit now. Yeah, I agree with you. That's what I did, Gerard. I took the hit now because, again, you're going to pay taxes on it. Okay, get it out of your mind that you're not going to pay taxes on your 401k. You're going to at some point. Does it make sense for you to take it now when you're making less money or you're in a lower tax bracket? It's the question, right? And there's no penalty, Penny. So Penny's asking about a penalty here. Do you get the penalty if you do that? It depends on what situation you're in. You know, if you've got a 401k that's sitting there from a previous job, no, there's no penalty at all. But if you're currently employed and that's where you have your 401k is with your current employer, you need to find out, well, okay, can I touch it now? That's one question. Under COVID rules, what can you do with it? Are you able to take it out as a hardship without penalty under the COVID rules? And we're looking to see if President Biden is going to extend some of that. So talk to your custodian, ask them, hey, is it possible for me to access this account because of a COVID hardship? And will I pay a penalty? And no. The answer should be no. Because I think it was a 2-year no penalty clause. But I don't know. Just check on that with your custodian and find out. Oh, James. Hey, James. James is saying about 85,000 to 100,000 down on duplexes. Depends on the location and sizes. We can see what will be a good fit for them. So James is on our team as well. So I hope that answers that for you, Kara. Yeah. Let me see. Mike, what does Mike say here? Mike says, I'm selling my home in California. Where would you put the proceeds temporarily until I find an investment property? Mike, is it a primary home that you're currently living in, or is it an investment property? Because that'll change my answer. The reason I say that is if it's an investment property, then a 1031 exchange might be your solution, right? You're going to exchange it for other investment properties using the 1031 exchange program. If it's your primary, again, I am not a financial advisor, so I can't tell you where to stick this money. I can only tell you that there are accounts right now that are offering really insane interest rates. They're backed by cryptocurrency. So if you're just looking for something temporary, short term, I'm talking 6 months, a year, 5 months, whatever. There's an account that I like. If you go to if you go to morrisinvest.com/outlet. This is the one that I use personally. So again, let me pull up see if I can get the captions up here on the screen. Outlet. I just want to make sure I have the right URL for you guys so I don't lead you to the wrong place. I got a whole new setup here, so my monitor is now about like 10 feet away from me. So it's really hard to see these small... I think that's the one though, right, Kelly? If it's morrisinvest.com/outlet, I think. I can't see it, so small. I'm sorry. But anyway, let me show you their website, okay? So it's outlet. They'll basically pay out 6%, but it fluctuates. Like it goes up to like 9%. They kind of fluctuate back and forth. And I'm talking, this is net. I mean, this is per year, okay? 6%. Think about your traditional savings account at a bank, which is like 0.01% if you're lucky. This is a savings account alternative backed by cryptocurrency. So what they do is you basically you put your money in there, and then they lend it out, and they're basically staking it. And so that's how it works. And you can actually plug in how much you've got right on their website. So if you're going to put in like, 400,000 from a sale of a house in, let's put in like 100,000. Okay. Let's put in 100,000. Your return after 10 years would be 181,000. Okay. So I would check them out. This is the one that I personally use. So if you go to morrisinvest.com/outlet, that's the one. Sorry, keeps hitting the wrong button. That's the one that I would check out. That's the one that I personally use. Let me see here. Any more questions before we wrap it up? Okay. Oh, you live in the guest house. Yeah. It's your primary residence, but you've been renting it out on Airbnb. I hope you have it in an LLC or something. I hope you're liability protected there. Let's see. Fam Jackson says, it took out 100K from 401k, no penalty due to COVID. I moved it into real estate and a little crypto. Taxes spread over 3 years, but I plan for it and make more than the taxes in that time. That's great. So yeah, Fam Jackson here used the COVID rule. Took 100K out of the 401k, no penalty. Yeah, so that used to be 50,000. Then they increased it to 100,000. So you can move it out, do whatever you want with it. Yeah, it's brilliant, So that's great. Oh, you have it in an S corp. Okay, good, Mike. Good. Well, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us here on the show. I hope you found this useful and valuable. We're here every Tuesday at noon Eastern time, so be sure to join us. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. We have tons of great resources here on the channel, specifically on IRAs and self-directed IRAs. So this isn't the only video we've done. Please go check out our whole playlists here on self-direction. We go in through some really nitty-gritty details, but I should say, if you do want to book a call with our team, we'd love to have you on the phone and walk you through this process. All you need to do is go to morrisinvest.com. Okay, click on the book a call button right there over this ugly guy. And when I say ugly guy, I mean this guy, me. That's me, by the way. So yeah, go to the website, click on this free book a call button, and what will happen is a calendar will pop up, and you pick a 30-minute time slot on the calendar that suits you, whenever you want. So you can also see all the other great stuff we have on the website as well. You can see our properties before and after, so new construction duplexes, as well as single families as well. And you can read all of our reviews and check out our team, check out the information on our team, everything right on the website. So go to Morris Invest, learn about our great partnership with Sidira Wealth and everything that we do together, building fantastic new construction properties. So thanks everyone for joining us today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Stay safe out there, and we will see you next week here on the channel. Take care, everyone.